through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves. For love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man have received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for the anointed one's sake have forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as the anointed one also have loved us, and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness, all covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Amen. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church and Holy Convention. In order to understand these things, what we need to do is go back to the beginning of things as they took place, and then maybe we can get an understanding of what's coming upon the earth. The Messiah said, watch, because when you begin to see these things come up on the earth, look up, because your redemption is near, right at the doors. I'd like to start our class today in the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 2, in verse 1 through verse 49. Daniel chapter 2, and verse 1 through verse 49. Let's see what the Spirit says to the church.
Verse 1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep broke from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if you show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that you would gain the time, because you see the thing is gone from me. But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, master, nor ruler that acts such things as any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requires, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the Elohim of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He reveals the deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou Elohim of my fathers, who have given me wisdom and might, and have made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Yehudah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, are you able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king have demanded, the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers cannot show unto the king. Verse 27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king have demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a Elohim in heaven that reveals secrets and makes known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days.
What shall be in the latter days. See, these are the days that we're living in now, the latter days, right? So this thing wasn't really for Nebuchadnezzar. This thing was for us then, wasn't it? Go ahead, brother.
Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for you, O king, your thoughts came into your mind upon your bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that reveals secrets maketh known to you what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that you might know the thoughts of your heart. Thou, O king, saw and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arm of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron, and part of clay.
So he's showing him the four kingdoms that was supposed to come up on the earth, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 34. You saw till that a stone was cut out without hands that smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and broke them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
Right. Now, he didn't smite this image upon his head. He smote this image upon his feet, which was the last part of the kingdom, which was the weakest part of the kingdom, although it was stronger militarily and in wealth, but it was the weakest part of the kingdom because of sin that would be upon the earth during this time. So he smote him on the feet, which was iron and miry clay, and the whole statue fell down, didn't it? Okay, and then that stone that was cut out without hand, it became a great mountain, excuse me, and filled the face of the whole earth with fruit. And we know that this stone that was cut out without hand was the Messiah, because the Messiah is the only one that was given power to destroy all the kingdoms that were in power that was set upon the earth. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Now you notice Daniel didn't say, I'm going to tell it. He said, we're going to tell it. See, he's talking about him and his brothers that the king of Babylon. If you read the earlier chapters, you find out that they were set over all the provinces of the kingdom of Babylon, simply because of Daniel and Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, because of the knowledge and understanding that was given these brothers. And we have to understand now, Daniel was a king's seed now. Okay, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 37. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the Elohim of heaven have given you a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And whatsoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, have he given into your hand, and made you ruler over them all. You are this head of gold.
You are the head of gold. You are this first head, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 39. And after you shall arise another kingdom inferior to you.
Now that would be the second empire. Go ahead.
And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
And this the first one was the Babylonian Empire. Then we had the Medo-Persian Empire, and then Alexander the Great came up. He was the third head, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaks in pieces and subdues all things, and as iron that breaks all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou saw the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as you saw the iron mixed with miry clay.
Right, so Rome fell in 476 ACE, and the kingdom was divided, and it's still divided, and we see it happening today. Just like the Messiah said, watch, we see it happening today before our very eyes. The empire is putting itself back together, and we haven't got into place in this empire. This empire's whole design is to destroy our people. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
And even today, they're mixing themselves with the seeds of men, and they're not cleaving together, because each country has its own ideas of how they want things to run. And these are the things that has brought wars all up on the earth. Division brings war. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
And we haven't seen that happen since Rome has failed in 476 AD. We have not seen this take place upon the earth, have we? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 45. For as much as you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it broke in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Elohim have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your Elohim is an Elohim of gods, and a Adonai of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing you could reveal the secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king.
Right, and the king was accustomed to seeing Daniel sitting in the gate. He knew his provinces was being run good because Yahweh was taking care of his provinces, and then this fool turned right around and made an image of gold and threw them same three brothers. Them same four brothers, he threw them in a fiery furnace because they wouldn't worship his God. But that God is the one that revealed the secret to him. It was the God of Israel that revealed the secret to him. Now let's go and pick this up a little further. Daniel 7 in verse 1 through verse 27. Daniel 7 in verse 1 through verse 27. And as we read these things, they don't need no explanation because they're going to explain themselves. All you have to do is look upon the earth and see. And what you don't see, look on that chart over there. That chart got it for you. Daniel chapter 7, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea.
Four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea of mankind, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
And four great empires came up out of the sea of men, and each one was different from the other. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
Now, if you read the book of Daniel, you find out that these are the things that happened to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar came out of his palace talking about, isn't this the great Babylon that I built with my hands and so forth? And the angel of the Lord told him, said, look, the kingdom them apart from you. They're going to drive you in the woods, and you're going to eat grass like an ox. And he went out in the woods. He ate they fed him like he was an ox with grass, and till his fingers grew like eagle talons and eagle claws, and his hair grew like eagle feathers till he looked up and recognized the God of Israel. Then the beast's heart was taken from him, and he was given the heart of a man and brought back into his kingdom and sat on his throne for one purpose, to let him know it's the Most High that's ruling this thing, man. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't doing nothing. Go ahead. See, that's what we get off into. We get off into thinking we so great and we doing something, and we ain't nothing but a bunch of little worms wiggling around down here. That's all. That's all. And Satan can stamp us out anytime he wants to, but it's the Most High that keeps Satan from destroying us. Why? Because he got something for you to do, Israel. He got to keep his covenants made with our fathers, and he's chosen you to do it. So don't take that choosing and think you some great one. He chose you simply because your names was written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Ain't got nothing to do with you. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Now, we know that the Medo-Persian Empire came in and overthrew the Babylonian Empire in 539 BC. And right now, Media is still called the bear. Don't they call Russia the bear? Okay, go ahead. And we know that the bear is still in power, and that's who America has had a problem with since World War II. You know why? She's going to be the one that's going to destroy America. See, they think, well, we got rid of communism and all that. Right. You got rid of it over there, and you bringing it over here and setting it up over here. Right. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6, After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Oh, Alexander the Great never did rule the whole earth. He came in 333 BCE, and he never did rule the earth. And when he died of malaria, his kingdom was divided among his 4 generals, the Seleucids of Syria, the Ptolemies of Egypt, out of who came Cleopatra, and niggas think she was black. The Ptolemies of Egypt, Cassander ruled from Russia, and Lucimanus was the one that took Rome, and out of Lucimanus came Remus and Romulus, and those were the ones that was given the credit for building the city of Rome. But go ahead and read, brother.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
And it was diverse from all the other beasts that was before it, right? So you had one head with Nebuchadnezzar, right? You had another head with the Medo-Persian Empire, because the Russians actually ran the empire after the Persian kings died off. And then you had Alexander the Great came in, and his kingdom was divided up among 4 generals, so that gave you 6 heads. And then the 7th head is was the Caesars of the Holy Roman Empire that came upon the earth. This is where you get your 7 heads, but it had 10 horns. Now, once Rome fell in 476 AD, the Huiles, the Vandals, and the Ostrogoths began to sack the Holy Roman Empire, and Emperor Justinian allied with Pope St. Leo, and they plucked those 3 horns up by the root. Then you had Constantine, Charlemagne, Napoleon, Otto the Great, and Hitler or Mussolini, whichever one you want to claim. Hitler was trying to just take over everything. Mussolini wanted to revive the Holy Roman Empire, but whichever one you want to say. That gave us 9 kings, right? Well, the 10th one is on the scene today. They just elected their new daddy. And the 10th one is on the scene today. The only thing that we are waiting for is him to be crowned. And once he gets crowned, children, we're going to be in big doo. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
So you had political Babylon in the beginning. Now you got ecclesiastical Babylon of the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, coming up on the scene, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
They was on the scene when the Messiah showed up, wasn't he? Weren't they? See, these folks talking all this talk with all this power and so forth that Lucifer is giving them, but we know what this is all designed to do. Yahweh, they think they just getting together to put up a big king to destroy you, but Yahweh of hosts is mustering the battle, and he's putting this thing together to show the world one thing. Israel is his people, I'm coming to save them, and y'all gonna be their slaves for a change. Now, we're gonna see how you're gonna like about that. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and to have his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
Mm-hmm.
I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even to the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
Two people, the beast and the false prophet. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
Mm-hmm.
And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
And verse 14, it says, there was given to him a dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nation, and languages should serve him, right? Well, if all of them going to heaven, all of them going to be speaking different languages, ain't they? That don't make sense. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Contrary to what the Christians talking about, verse 18 said, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. That means you got to go to war. And possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And check this out. We haven't been at war collectively with anybody for 2,000 years. Can you imagine how our children and our wives and so forth is going to feel to see that we have risen up as a great nation and going to war against the most powerful organization that has ever been upon the face of the earth? Yeah, now that's going to take a lot of gumption there, brother. Yeah. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Now, the reason he wanted to know this, because Daniel lived in the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, right? Now, but what Daniel was concerned about was this fourth empire, because in the fourth empire, this is when the thrones was going to be cast down, and the Ancient of Days is going to sit. This is when Israel was going to be delivered and brought back to their land in this fourth empire here. Especially, I know Daniel was really concerned with verse 18 when it said, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. And this brother here was a slave. Yeah. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Now we got another king. See? It had 10 horns, right? Now we got another one, which would be of the 7 kings that would rule the whole earth, and he would be the 8th. You read that, we're going to read that in Revelation. But now, like I said, we had the political structure of it, and we had the ecclesiastical structure of it, and the church and state has always allied together to fight their common enemy. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
They scattered us to the 4 corners. They took our land. They scattered us to the 4 corners of the earth. They set up another people over in Israel as us. And right now, they took over what the apostles delivered to them. And right now, they are riding high. And we can see they controlling all of the assets upon the face of the earth is being controlled by the Christians. And if they can't get it through politics, they're gonna take it through war.
Also, they're gonna break this down. Also, because a lot of these Catholic call themselves saints, but they know the saints were Israel because Saul said that he persecuted the church, arrested the saints before the Messianic Jews, So these Gentiles were speaking.
Ain't no saints in the Catholic Church. Ain't no saints in the Christian church. Christ says salvation is of the Jews, and that took care of all of that. Okay, go ahead and read. See, folks don't read. See, what folks do is folks like that word of mouth thing, you see, and you've got these Gentiles walking around here practicing niggerism. That's all it is. Go ahead and read, brother.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
He was different from the first because he was a religious king. The other kings were power kings. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time.
They did change times and laws. They changed the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday. They made Christianity the legal religion of the empire when the Messiah had already said salvation is of the Jews, and the prophets had said that the nation is going to grab onto the coattail of him that is a Jew, right? So they did change times and laws, and they changed the beginning of the year. They got them a new Sabbath day. We got reindeer day. We got Rabbit Day, we got Cupid Day, we got Mother's Day, Daddy's Day, and I'm surprised, and even they got a time of the year they call Dog Day. Check that out. Yeah, go ahead.
Section of that, they even got Grandparents' Day, the days go Boss Day. Everybody got a day.
Of course. Everybody but us. They gave us a day to honor our king and say, well, you can't do it on this day, you have to do it on another day. And Jake bought into that chunk just so we can have, Martin Luther King got a day on the calendar, right? But you can't celebrate it on this day. Yeah, and if it was up to me, I'd go to the brother's grave and dig him up and set him on fire. Yeah, go ahead and read.
Got a question, brother.
Yeah.
I was saying also how the Pope blasphemed by saying he's the Holy Father because the Yahshua said call him man on earth the Father. So he claimed that he's the Father, that Papa, just speaking about those people. Right?
Of course. Because we know what that's all about, brother. That's all about them Gentiles keeping themselves in power through the Roman Catholic Church. And I'm gonna tell you one thing: it's not only the Roman Catholics that was waiting for them to crown their new pope. It's a whole lot of protesters that was waiting around, waiting for their God to be crowned. You see, they know that they bastard children, but they know that they're still Christians, don't they? Okay, and they know that the Pope set up everything they believe in. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother. The church did, rather.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him.
And truly we understand from reading this book that the people of the saints of the Most High is the children of Israel that's in captivity to the nations all over the earth. Daniel chapter 9 and verse 20 through chapter 12 and verse 3. Daniel chapter 9 and verse 20 through chapter 12 and verse 3. Most of this stuff don't need explaining. It is self-explanatory. The only thing you have to do is be pointed to what to read, where to go read these things in the history books in the public library.
Yeah, Elder, one more thing to read about the sins within the kingdom, right? You know, back in Psalms 149, it says, the saints, let them rejoice upon their beds and sing praises to execute vengeance upon the heathens, right? And bind the nobles in chains of iron. So that's Israel there.
Because that's what has to be done. Didn't Isaiah say it? And the rulers are going to be gathered together and put in prison, and after many days they're going to be visited. Right. And he that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. And we know our folks has died all over this earth under the hands of these Gentiles, and them Africans and them Arabs. Now we know that. Yeah, all the sons of Noah. Yeah. Daniel 9, and pick that up at verse 20, my brother.
Yes, sir. And whilst I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahweh my Elohim for the holy mountain of my Elohim, yes, whilst I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation.
Right, because he said fly. People said, well, they got to have the wings to fly, because everything we see got wings on it to fly, so they put wings on angels.
Superman didn't have them.
Yeah, I know that, brother, but see, that's one of their heroes.
Back in the 50s when I was watching them, he didn't have them.
Neither did Captain Marvel. Only thing he had to say was Shazam.
Right.
Okay. Even Thor didn't have no wings. His horse had wings. Right. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 22. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give you skill and understanding.
Praise Yah.
At the beginning of your supplications, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show you, for you are greatly beloved.
That's why you here, because you greatly beloved. You under the blood of the Messiah, and you're greatly beloved. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon your holy city.
70 weeks are determined upon your people and of the holy city. Now, when you go back in the book of Jeremiah and read Jeremiah, Jeremiah said 70 years. So we know that these are 70 weeks of years. In other words, it's 70 weeks of years. In other words, if it's 7 weeks would equal 1 year, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin.
To finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to bring in and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. He told him 6 things that was going to take place in that 70 years, right? Well, none of these took place in the first 70 years. So they had to take place in the last 70 years, weeks of years, which would be 483 years in the process of these things taking place. But go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Mashiach, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times.
Okay, so if we figure that out, we'll find out it would take 483 years for the Messiah to show on the scene. And when you go back and read Ezra 7, you'll find out that the commandment went forth in 457 BC. And if you subtract 457 from 483, you come up with 26 years, and the Messiah showed up for baptism in the year of 26 AD. Go ahead and read. See, this is why when brothers get off into that garbage about these niggas flying around here talking about they the Messiah, and the Messiah's over here, and the Messiah's over there. Go back to the book of Daniel, and you'll see the exact year that the Messiah came and disprove all that garbage. See. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall the Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. And the end thereof shall be with the flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Okay, so the Messiah was cut off. Then after 62 weeks, the Messiah was cut off, and Titus came in and destroyed the city, didn't he? Go ahead, brother.
Verse.
Of course. Of course. Go ahead, read.
Verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
And that what was determined would be poured upon the desolate from 70 A.D. To the regathering of the children of Israel. But go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Daniel chapter 10, verse 1. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time upon it was long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth. Neither did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled.
I do a conference call with some brothers once a week, and the brother read this here to me and said, man, well, you know, when fasting, Daniel just said he didn't eat no bread or no flesh or no wine coming to his mouth. Does that mean we can eat everything else? I said, fasting, man, read about the Day of Atonement to tell you how you're supposed to fast. You afflict your soul from even to even. Yes, but go ahead. But these folks got congregations, y'all.
I think when the fire, I think the city fire stood off, when they said that you only must feed the ox and all the sheep, nothing, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. When you fast, everything fasts. You see, Yahweh gave it all to you, didn't it? So what died to him, then, didn't it? Okay. Right. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. And in the 24th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like the burial, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Right, and we know that ain't no white person look like this, don't we? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet heard I the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto you, and stand upright. For unto you am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you did set your heart to understand and to chasten yourself before your Elohim, your words were heard, and I am come for your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia.
Right. Gabriel went down there and got dusted by Satan, didn't he? Let you know. What that lets you know, if he can withstand Yahweh's messenger, it lets you know what he can do to you, don't it? Okay, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 14. Now I am come to make you understand what shall befall your people in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake, and said unto him that stood before me, O my Adonai, by the visions my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of this my Adonai talk with this my Adonai?
How can I talk with you? Go ahead, brother.
For as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me.
How can I talk to you and I can't even stand up? I can't even control myself. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me, and said, O man greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened, and said, Let my Adonai speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, Do you know why I come unto you? And now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am going forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come. But I will show you that which is noted in the scripture of truth, and there is none that holds with me in these things but Michael, your prince. Also I, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen
I
him.
was the one that brought him in. I was the one that stood up and confirmed and strengthened him, carrying out Yahweh's word. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all, and by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Greece.
Now, he's talking about the Romans then, isn't he? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will.
Alexander the Great. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above, and the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes. And he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion.
Okay, now he was talking about the Ptolemies of Egypt at that time. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm.
Okay, my brother, that's talking about some things that happened with the Seleucus of Syria and the Antiochus Epiphanes and a whole lot of other Bernice and a whole lot of other people that that was with them Gentiles. But I tell you what I want you to do, my brother. I want you to pick this up at verse 36.
And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the Elohim of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined.
Okay.
Verse 36. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god.
Now, this is future now. This is the little horn that's coming up. Go ahead, brother.
And shall speak marvelous things against the Elohim of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all.
And he is God, will stand in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 38. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces.
He's going to honor his military might. That's who's going to keep him in office. Keep this last beast in office. But go ahead and read, brother.
And a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over.
Right. He going to show the Bushes how to do this thing. See, the Bushes went in there playing games. He's going in there to take over the whole Middle East. Why? Because everybody has to receive that name, number, and mark and worship that beast. If you don't, you're going to be ripped off. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 41. He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown. But these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon.
Because they are going into captivity under us, and eventually Edom is his whole seed is going to be destroyed. But go ahead, brother.
Verse 42. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. Yet shall he come to his end, and none shall help him.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time shall Mikael stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book.
He's talking about Israel and the great multitude. And the Messiah said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whoso read, let him understand. Right, because there's going to be a time of trouble like it never was and never will be until that same time. That's when Mikael stands up. And once Mikael stands up, the whole bottom is going to fall out of all this thing. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Some people, when the Messiah shows up, some people are going to wake up to everlasting life, but the other people is going to sleep to their shame and everlasting contempt, and they're going to be raised up after the Messiah's reign at the white throne judgment and be thrown into the lake of fire. But go ahead, brother.
Last verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
Amen. As the stars of the 12 tribes of Israel forever and even forever and ever. But let's go into Revelations 12 and pick up some of the things that we read. Now we read about the beast with the 7 heads and 10 horns and 10 crowns and all of that stuff, right? Now let's go in the book of Revelation and see who controls all of this. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1 through verse 6, my brother.
Verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Now this is the church. This is the temple, the tabernacle that's in heaven, and it had a crown of 12 stars, which are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. This is why man cannot get rid of Israel, because Israel is the only nation of people that is represented in heaven. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head.
So all of these empires that came up on the earth belong to Lucifer, because Lucifer is the prince of this earth. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Right, 1,260 days from the face of the serpent. This is why we have to go into the wilderness, because we've been spoiled. We have been utterly spoiled in this country here. And if they start issuing a name, number, and mark, all of us going to take it. All of us going to take it, right. Revelation chapter 4 and verse 1 through chapter 6 and verse 11. Revelation chapter 4 and verse 1 through chapter 6 and verse 11. Let's go and take a look in heaven and see what's going on up there.
Verse 1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show you things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald.
Right, when you look at what a jasper is and a sardine stone, you can very well see these are brown stones. And all of us are brown folks. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had a face as a man, and the 4th beast was like a flying eagle. And the 4 beasts had each of them 6 wings about him, and they were full of eyes within, and they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Adonai Elohim Almighty, which was and is to come.
So, y'all, we don't just need you to stand around talking about holy, 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 and how much you love him. He don't need you to just stand around and do that. He needs you to take care of this business that's got to be taken care of on the earth that the Messiah left. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9. And when those beasts give glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who lives forever and ever, the 24 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne, and worship him that lives forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, You are worthy, O Adonai, to receive glory and honor and power, for you have created all things, and for your pleasure they are and were created. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders says unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim sent forth into all the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat on the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
Mm-hmm.
And they sung a new song, saying, You are worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For you were slain and have redeemed us to Elohim by your tongue out from among every kindred and tongue and people. By your blood. I'm sorry, brother, I missed that one. Let me read that again. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For you were slain and have redeemed us to Elohim by your blood out from among every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and have made us unto our Elohim kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
Gentiles say they're going to reign in heaven. See? Gentiles say they're going to reign in heaven, but the 24 elders say they're going to reign on the earth with the Messiah. Now, somebody lying. Okay, and I'm inclined to believe it's the Gentiles lying. I mean, they told me about I was an African American, didn't they? Okay.
The 24 elders, are they like from a certain tribe or that?
There's 24 elders. Read, Steve.
Verse 11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And the 4 beasts said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him that lives forever and ever.
Let's go back and look at that, my brother. You got Adam. You had Seth.
Mm-hmm.
You had Enoch. You had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? There's a whole lot of people you can go back up in there. And all of the 24 elders came from the Holy Seed. And there's quite a few of them that you can pick up out of there. I don't know who all of them are, but it's quite a few of them that you can pick up out of there that are part of the 24 elders. Moses was one. Elijah was another one. Remember, they were seen on the Mount of Transfiguration. So, and the Messiah said, many is going to come and sit down in the kingdom with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So you can very well see that these are the elders that came out of the Holy See, not necessarily from the 12 tribes of Israel, but definitely from the Holy See.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now if you find any more that you want to deal with, you can, but that's all I know, brother. Isaiah, do me a favor and get that chair back there for me, please. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 6, verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
This was during the Crusades. Thank you, there, brother. This was during the Crusades. This is when the Catholic Church and the Roman Empire went forth conquering the whole earth, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
This happened during the 13th century, 1300s. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. This happened during the 1300s when the Arabs went on their jihad and conquered all over where they fought all the way up to Constantinople, and the Gentiles turned the battle right there at Istanbul, Turkey. That's what it's called today. And then they went into Africa and spread Islam with the sword all over Africa, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see, you hurt not the oil and the wine.
This is the coming of the fourth beast upon the earth and the false prophet. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
And I know quite a few of you have read the book, Behold the Pale Horse. But that's who they're talking about, the man with the 666, the Roman Catholic Church, with her spreading her skirts all over mankind. And we know that all the kings that are elected today has to go see the Pope. Jimmy Carter wouldn't go, and they didn't let him go to his funeral either, did they? Did he? Some, oh, well, I didn't want to go. No, you couldn't go. They took your seat and your ticket, buddy, because you didn't go see the Pope. You sent your wife. And when you looked up, the Pope was right over here. And Jimmy Carter was standing up behind him. The wind was blowing that little cape up, and he's showing all 55 teeth, man, just holding that cape down. I'm on your side. No, you weren't. You're a protester. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Elohim and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Adonai, holy and true, do you not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?
Mm-hmm.
And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled.
All of us aren't going to get killed, but it's some of us going to have to give it up. Some of us is going to have to give it up. And if you ain't ready for it, like I've always said, if you aren't prepared to die for what you believe in and to die for the Messiah, then you need to leave here. Because it's going to come a time, if you're not prepared, it's going to come a time when you're going to wish you had been prepared, and you might turn your back on the true and living God. Practice makes perfect. And if you don't practice it now, what makes you think you're going to do it all of a sudden just because somebody come up to you and say, well, are you going to worship this man here or not? What makes you think you're going to even get to that point? Yahweh is not going to play any game. Yahweh, the slaying of Yahweh is going to be from one end of the earth to the other. And guess what? It's going to begin with us.
Judgment going to begin at the house of God.
At the house of Yahweh, and then
Right.
spread abroad. Just like charity begins at us and then spread abroad. Yahweh is going to kill off. He said, I'm going to bring you out into the wilderness with fury poured out. Okay, and when we look and read the prophets, we see that in this fury, 2 out of 3 of us is going to get killed off. Understand that. 2 out of 3. That's a very great number. This is why I tell you, you better make your Dewey points now. Because if you don't make them now, it's not going to be time. Once the doors are shut, you ain't going to have time to lay up no treasures in heaven. Yeah, go ahead and read. Most of the treasures, most of us got laid up and burned up already.
That was it, Elder.
So-called Christian preachers too, because they preach and preach, they get right up to the door and knowing what they know, and then deliberately turn back and go back to the opposite direction.
Yeah, well, brother, the Christian preacher's going to be killed off long before the Messiah comes. Ain't going to be, the Pope's going to get rid of this religion thing that we got, man. Yeah, I mean, when this last Pope just died, met with the Israelis, brother, when they came out of that meeting, he said eventually religion is not going to be as it is now. They're going to change things, man. This new Pope said we got to bring this thing under one umbrella. And that's what he's going to be in the process of doing. This is the man that understands the dark sentences. Yeah. Don't you go back and look at Ratzinger's life, man, and understand that Ratzinger was a Nazi. Understand that, brother. And if the German Holy Roman Empire that fell, so we can understand why it's the German Holy Roman Empire that's coming. That's the German in there now. So let us understand, we right at the doors. You can believe it if you want to. We can play games if we want to, but we better get our act together, because if you don't do it now, you may try to get it together and you won't be able to. What makes us think that Yahweh is going to stand there always knocking on the door of our mind? It ain't going to happen like that, man. Go knock on somebody else's mind. See, you ain't going to do nothing.
You already said he wants to unify.
Of course.
He wants to unify and said that it's a verse.
Of course, brother, these protesters have messed up everything. They messed up everything. Boy, they got so much liberty. So the people are practicing so many liberties that they got some serious problems. See, that's what I call magic. What you do, man? Okay. Now that's magic. Boy, these white folks good.
It's technology.
And we learn how to get better than they are.
He also said he's gonna deal with them churches in the West. That means he's getting ready to deal with these Gentiles here.
Of course. Of course. The churches you talk about in the West is the Protestant church. Go ahead.
Also, his position was in the Catholic Church, obviously held, was what they used to call the Inquisition, to wasn't following the Catholic faith. So everything's falling right in line with the prophecy with this particular guy.
Of course, brother, we seeing it. We seeing it. Go ahead, bro.
To me, basically, he was hiding out anyway. I mean, after he left the Nazis, he just hid himself within the vacuum. And he's already stated several times that he doesn't recognize any other religion other than what he's practicing today.
Of course.
He's already said it on TV.
Of course.
So, I mean, how you can, I mean, good grief, you know? Just the fact you watch this stuff.
Right, right. So these amber waves of grain has got to go. Go ahead, brother. You, did you have your hand up? Huh? Okay.
Young man here.
I'm not talking to you. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Elder, that cardinal speech that he did the night before they had elected him, one thing that he pointed out was about dictatorship, off the real. That's one of the things that he pointed to. So he set the standard, time that he got in there, what this whole thing is about,
Right.
That's one of the things he said, and I went on and I saw the exact thing, and he said, and they highlighted on the news, but the majority of people, well, I ain't gonna pay that no attention, but it's just like you said, if we can see these things happening, and therefore we can watch, our deliverance name is at near,
Of course, my brother. You have to understand that he will be the dictator. He will be the dictator, brother. He's the one that's going to dictate to the nations who to worship, when to worship, how to worship, and he's the one that's going to dictate to the nation. You got to kill off Israel. You got to get rid of these folks here because this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Y'all see how poor we are, all this boogie-woogie equipment we got in here, and half of it don't work half the time. Okay, you get on one line and it just go out. Go find another line to get in. See how big Satan runs around up in here like a big dog, don't he? Yeah, we know it. You don't just touch y'all, touch me too. Go ahead and read, Steve. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. How this guy was 80 years old. He had heart trouble some years ago.
What difference does it make? What difference does it make, bro? I know some people, man, my grandmother died at 118 years old. What difference does it make being 70? What you think, 76 years old, brother? There ain't no time for a man to be up on the earth. Not today. You see, so just because he's at that age, brother, they need a man with age because them young folks don't understand those dark sentences. They haven't been around long enough. So they need someone up there that's got that might and power to sway the rest of the people in the church.
What you said in his speech that he was a man of great wisdom. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. He's a man of great knowledge and wisdom.
Of course.
He knows.
Of course. And that's why Daniel said he understood dark sentences and so forth because of his wisdom. Go ahead, brother.
I'm not disputing his knowledge. It's just that from his past history, he had heart trouble. And he doesn't All that pressure on them, I think it's gonna make it
But see, what y'all doing is this. Y'all thinking the way men think. Yahweh is in control of this thing, man.
He's gonna be used as God.
Yahweh is in control of this thing.
He was born for this
See,
purpose.
so we just have to understand
That's
one
true.
thing. If Yahweh wanted to be there for 1,000 years with a hole in his heart, one lung, half a kidney, half his blood gone, he's going to be there.
He'll be there.
He is going to be there. It doesn't make any difference. See, we looking for some young, dynamic person to come in there. Why? Why? You see what happened to the young presidents there now that they elected in this country, don't you? They got ripped off. You know why? Wisdom is with the age, brother. And it's going to take an older man to understand all of the things that's got to be taken care of up on this earth. A man with the experience. Look how long that dude's been in that church. Look how long he's been a cardinal. And you can very well see, man, you understand now, them cardinals and everything is the one to give orders to the Jesuits. And the Jesuits is the one who run the earth. So let's look at that. Let's don't look at his age. What's to look at is this. Let's look at the office that he holds and watch what comes out of his mouth from now on. That's what we do. Let's pay attention to what come out of his mouth. Let's pay attention to the edicts that he signed. Let's pay attention to what happens every time those cardinals go into a conclave and then come out. Let's pay attention to those things, not according to age and so forth, because you know how we do things. It's just like smoking, for instance. They tell you, say, well, if you stop smoking now, the damage done will be repaired, right? But there's a news anchor that came on last week say, I quit 20 years ago and now I'm dying of lung cancer. So, you know, let's don't look at things on the natural side of it. Let's look at what the Spirit is doing, because Yahweh's thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are not our ways, and he sets over men the basis of men. And this dude here coming up, brother, he was a Nazi. He is one of the bases of men. In other words, he hated Jews, right? Well, he know who the real Jews are. See, that's what we watch. That's what we watch. Don't pay no attention to, oh, well, he's old and then everything. See, that come from being educated by the adversary, the devil. Let's understand what Yahweh is doing upon this earth. And it ain't been, you go back in the scripture and you're going to find out that most of the great deeds that was done among the children of Israel was done by the older people.
You know, Elder, he got liberty over here. These Protestants, he got them scared because one word came out. Hardliner. He's more stricter than this one just passed away.
It's going to
really
take.
Concerned about it, man.
It's going to take a man like that, brother, in order to pull this Roman Catholic Church back together.
And all this, he's gonna go. He ain't down with it.
Well, it's going to take a dynamic leader in order to pull religion back together, man. Because religion has got out of hand, man. You got bodybuilders out there, got this preachers, man, is getting around exercising to the Creator. Huh? Yahweh saves. Y'all seen them on TV? Y'all know this deal. They made a mockery out of this book here. Why? Because it's near the time of the end, and we're going to hear some of everything that's coming up out of this. Go ahead, brother.
In reference to what he was saying, you look at Dick Cheney, look what he did 3, 4 years. I mean, it doesn't take long to get the job done. You can do it. So, a man's age just doesn't really matter.
Brother, he can issue a decree today and niggas will start dropping like flies. And we know it. We know it. We see what the militia has already said. We're going to overthrow this government here. You know why? We got to get rid of these black folks. These black folks are leeches. They don't manufacture nothing. They don't do nothing but create babies in trouble. And come on, let us deal wisely with them, because whether you want to know it or not, brother, you take a trip over this country here, and every place you go, I bet you see more of us than we do of them. Man, in 430 years, don't you know we've multiplied? Yeah.
You look at it too, over in the parliament.
Pardon me?
Hide as many of us away in prison.
Right. So these women stop having all these babies, man. Go ahead, bro.
In the parliament, and especially over there in that Kremlin over there in Russia, you look see some of those men together. The youngest one is about 90 years old. I mean, some of wise men. The babies is 89, 88 years old.
Well, brother, this is why. Well, brother, wisdom come with the age. This is why the scripture says, ask your fathers and they will tell you. But see, our people don't like to ask their fathers. What they like to do, they like to go and hook up with their peers and everything. Well, brother, what you think? You've been to college. You got a couple of degrees. What do you think? And then that's the way they form it. That's why folks walking around sacrificing lambs in this day and time. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve. Let's finish up.
That was it, Em.
You finished that?
The Revelation went through chapter 6, verse 11.
Revelation chapter, you finish up at verse 11? Okay. From the Garden in Eden, Lucifer, the anointed cherub, was not only the prince of the earth and keeper of man, but became the deceiver who introduced the darkness of sin. And from the fall of Adam, the war between good and evil has plagued man through Lucifer's wrath. He has used man to defy the holy seed which brought about the great flood of Noah and led the 4 empires against Israel, the holy seed, and we are in the midst of his wrath today. So don't be puffed up with the vanities of pride, nor think one is too smart or too intelligent or too holy to fall from grace being deceived. Because Lucifer, once we get in a position like that, Lucifer comes in and makes his abode with us. But let's go in Isaiah chapter 14, and read verse 5 through verse 27. Let's see what Lucifer's up to. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5 through verse 27. See, Yahweh don't leave us nothing to think about. He said, ask and you shall receive. Knock and it shall be open unto you. There's things that have been revealed to you and will be revealed to you that you never would have dreamed would be possible. Just wait, the closer we get to our deliverance and the more intensified these classes begin, it's going to be because of Lucifer is going to get more intensified. And y'all going to hear some things come out of my mouth that you ain't going to like. I don't care. Just keep sitting in that seat there. That's all I want you to do is keep sitting in that seat. Isaiah chapter 14, and pick it up at verse 5 through verse 27.
Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
Mm-hmm.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirs up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
Amen.
All they shall speak and say unto thee, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like unto us? Your pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of your vows. The worm is spread under you, and the worms cover you. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Now he done got thrown out of heaven, and he gonna say he gonna ascend back. And you see how foolish he deceived himself. He said, I'm gonna ascend into heaven. I'm gonna exalt my throne above the stars of God. I'm gonna sit in the temple in Jerusalem. I'm gonna be just like the Most High. Well, we know he's gonna do the rest of that, but ascending into heaven, Once he get thrown out, that's it. That's it. Then people going to look up on him and say, is this the man that made kingdoms to crumble? Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners?
That opened not the house of his prisoners, right? All these brothers and folks out here that's committing crimes and everything, that's being locked up 24/7, 365. That's who their father is. That's exactly who 99.9% of their father is, the adversary of the devil. And the reason why they're in jail is because they've been following the adversary of the devil. Then folks want you to scrape up every nickel you can beg, scrape, beg, borrow to get them out of jail. I mean, you already told them obey the laws of the land so it'll go well with you. But see, these folks want us to suffer right along with them. And you know what's going to happen? If we allow them to, our children is going to pull us right on down with them. Watch. Just watch. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. You shall not be joined with them in burial, because you have destroyed your land and slain your people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, says Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, says Yahweh. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the broom of destruction, says Yahweh of hosts. Yahweh of hosts have sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders.
When he's talking about the Assyrians, he's just talking about the Gentiles, that's all. Go ahead, brother.
The brother said the things that were running before our time, before our learning, right? We know the fourth beast is still controlling the earth. So we can still cross-reference from the prophecies and link up to show right there Jesus now with Gentiles.
A lot of folks don't think that, brother. A lot of folks think America is running the earth. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 26. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For Yahweh of hosts have purpose, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?
Right, his word is gone out of his mouth and will not return in vain until Yahweh has brought deliverance upon this earth. Revelation 6 and verse 12 through verse 17. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 12 through verse 17. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 12 through verse 17. Now, it's my belief that we're in the fifth seal right now. Now, let's see what's going to happen when the sixth seal is open.
Verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood.
Right, it was a great earthquake, right? And everything got dark all over the earth, didn't it? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind.
Lucifer and the angels are thrown out of heaven, and the angels of Yahweh come down to protect the children of Israel. All of the angels come down to protect those whose names is written in the Lamb's book of life. Yahweh don't need no protection in heaven. He got all the protection he need himself. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
Ain't this what's supposed to take place when the Messiah comes? Huh? Now you see how easy Satan is going to be for Satan to deceive the nations? Go ahead, brother.
And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Verse 15. and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
Okay. Chapter 12 and verse 7 through verse 17. Chapter 12 and verse 7 through verse 17. This is what happens when the sixth seal is open.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Right. It said there came a time when when all the sons of Elohim came to appear before him, and Lucifer came also. He said, "Where you come from, Satan?" He said, "From going to and fro into the earth and walking up and down in it." Right. So we understand that this earth was given to Satan to rule for 6,000 years, and guess what? He's ruled it royally. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
No more access. You're on your own now, buddy. No more access. Now, we're going to see what you're going to do against my angels, and now that you ain't got no power, we're going to see what you're going to do against my angels and them children of Israel that I've already told them, given them power, and told them no weapon formed against you is going to prosper. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our Elohim, and the power of his anointed one, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night.
Mm-hmm.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knows that he have but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
When the dragon gets cast out, he coming for you, Israel. He coming for you, Israel. And if you ain't got Yahweh's power, you're going to be in big trouble. This is why we doing the things that we need to do now so that we can retain that power.
Of the land of redemption, not as the old, the Passover lamb, but they talk about the blood of Yahshua, delivering them for that deliverance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the reason we came under the blood, brother, so that we can attain deliverance. Deliverance from this flesh. That's what we came under the blood, for deliverance from this flesh, so that the old man can die, so that the new man can come alive and live forever.
Those brothers, they're not even versed in the law book, brother, because it says anybody who's in bondage, a near relative has to come to redeem, not an animal.
Right.
Blood of animal can't redeem.
Right. This is why we know that the Messiah didn't come to redeem the sons of Noah. He came to redeem the holy seed, right. Like he told Abraham. I've heard you concerning Ishmael, but in Esau shall the seed be called. And that seed was the holy seed, which was our father, the new seed that came up on the earth that would bring forth the fruit of the earth. The Messiah had to come out of a nation, out of a family. Right. So that meant he had to have a country and a nation, didn't it? Okay. And a tribe. Okay. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Revelations chapter 12, verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
Right. Judah breaks camp. Glory and honor to the Jew first. Go ahead. This is what Passover and so forth. This is what Passover is all about, brother. Getting us out of here and passing over our sin, making us unleavened before the Creator. This is why he's going to purge out the 2/3 of he's going to pass over our sins, bring us out into the wilderness. Then he's going to purge out 2/3 of us, and that third part will be unleavened, right? There'll also be the first fruits. Yeah. No, what about? Yeah, see, y'all don't get no garbage when y'all come over here. What y'all get is the unadulterated word of the Creator. Now, what you do with it, that's between you and your Creator. I'm going to teach you. You can't say, well, I didn't learn nothing when I went to NCCI. If you didn't learn anything, it's because you came in here with the wrong things on your mind, and Lucifer still got his finger stuck in your ears. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach.
Right. Once Judah get into the wilderness, Lucifer is going to make war with the rest of our tribes, which keep the commandments of Elohim, and the ones who have the testimony of Yeshua to give to the nations that's going to have to come through that 3.5 years of great tribulation period. When we consider the wrath of spiritual blindness, poverty, and the shadow of death that is visited upon us this very day, the enemies of our Elohim is not concerned with our well-being as a people, but are planning our extinction. Not only is Willie Lynch entrenched within our ranks, but since the Civil Rights Revolution, Lucifer is slowly causing us to be hated of all nations, as we have become parasites of all the nations, and liability is what anyone quickly tires of and discard at their earliest opportunity. Therefore, their father Lucifer is stirring around as a lion to destroy our remembrance from among men, as he frets himself to try to make Yahweh's word of none effect. But let's go into Revelation 7 and read verse 1 through verse 8. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 1 through verse 8. Let's see what happened once Satan gets thrown out of heaven.
Verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Now remember, it said when we started in this book of Daniel, it said the 4 winds of heaven strove upon the great sea, right? So we know that these were 4 empires. So what we see now, we see all these 4 empires united as one, coming together, don't we? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the seas, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their fortunes.
Right, we're about to go into the great tribulation period. See, go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there was sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
The Gentiles is not tribes of the children of Israel. Ham is not tribes of the children of Israel. Ishmael and Shem and Moab and Ammon, these people are not part of the tribes of the children of Israel, right? We are Yahweh's servants, and we have to be sealed from the wrath of the adversary, the devil, because if Yahweh don't seal us, we're going to get ripped off. It's just that simple. Good.
You know, the Europeans back in their days, they dwelled in villages anyway. They didn't consider themselves a tribe or nothing. They said this village, that village, and that village.
Well, the Europeans are a lot of, that's because of some of the Europeans that still know that they're tribes, brother. You hear them say, well, I'm Scottish, I'm British, I'm English. See, I'm Irish. So they still consider themselves to be tribes. You know, they know that they know that Japhet had 7 sons, and all those sons are different tribes. They know that. But the nations today, the nations has become so diversified and so separated from one another. It's not about tribe anymore. It's about wealth and power. Okay.
Wasn't those European tribes, weren't those the same tribes that were the barbarians that came in and infiltrated the Roman Empire?
Celtics
And all of those are the same tribes that were the barbarians.
You're right, brother. Go ahead and read, Steve.
The seal in our neck and our forehead. This is the knowledge that you're teaching right now.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna come out and stamp that. You ain't gonna let nobody come out with no stamp and stamp you in your forehead. No, it ain't gonna be nothing like that, brothers. Who you work for and what you do, and the number that you carry. See, that Social Security number, it's gonna follow you from birth to grave, brother. And that's the way they're gonna do everything with this is through your Social Security number. See, this is the reason why they fired Andy Young. See, they caught him with the microfilms of those Social Security numbers to be put in that computer. Remember when they brought that they had one in Brussels, but remember when they brought the computer online in Luxembourg? That's when it happened. Okay, everything is being transferred over in Europe because America knows she's going. This is why the cooperative structure since right after World War II, they start moving over into Europe and Asia. The first thing that went was the textile mills. Then the automobile manufacturers went over there, and General Motors got hooked up with Toyota. Ford got hooked up with, who was that, Mazda? Mm-hmm. And Chrysler got hooked up with one of those other companies over there. So the big companies of the Fortune 500 companies, I think right now, as far as Coca-Cola is concerned, I think their largest market right now is in Asia. You see, so the corporate structure is moving over. See, and the job, we all talked about that outsources and so forth and so on. The nations know what they're doing. We're the one ignorant because we are on the bottom of the pile, and these niggas in these churches we got right here calling themselves preachers, they're not watching. And the scripture said, watch. When you begin to see these things come up on the earth, look up, for your redemption is near, right at the door. And the only thing that they're watching, brother, is the bank account.
Watch it, he said, set watchmen upon your wall that shall not hold the peace. Mm-hmm. So yeah, established Jerusalem, a prayer of the earth.
Right, they've been there, and they've been there since before we went into Jerusalem. Go ahead and read, Steve.
You know, if I watch him sometime on the first day of the week, everybody have the Bible on the lap. The Bible's closed. He got his closed, and he just doing his little speech. I mean, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, brother. Well, I'm glad I'm not one of them brothers that like to sit up and do a whole lot of talking. Yeah, because, man, you get to talking too much, man, you going to end up telling a lie sooner or later. Yeah, any man, it's just a man, a lot of words, end up telling a lot of lies. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Verse 5. Of the tribe of Yehudah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000.
Manasseh is not a tribe. Joseph was a tribe. Mm-hmm. Manasseh is a half tribe. Right. Go ahead, brother. So this is one of the errors that was made by the redactor here. They put Manasseh's name in here, and then they turn around and put Joseph's name in here. You see, so what they did was they excluded Dan. So what the Gentiles say, well, seeing that one of the tribes is excluded, then this is where we was grafted in. This says, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we've sealed the servants of our God in their forehead. And truly, it was made known to us in the New Testament who Yahweh's servants are. We the one that wrote the book. We the one that went and taught the nations. The nation destroyed us, and they took over, and now we following them, right? Why? Because Yahweh gave us up to that until the time of reformation. That's why you hearing the things that you hearing today, because it's the time of reformation. We ain't got but a few more years, and we know it. We can look at the state of our people right here in this country here and see we ain't got long to stay here. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 7. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
All these 12 tribes, 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe of the children of Israel. Seeing the glowing honors to the Jew first, 144,000 Israelites are sealed, and Yehuda is brought to the wilderness of safety from Lucifer's wrath, so that we can be the majestic white horse that Yahweh is going, that the Messiah is going to ride into the battle. But let's see some things that's going to take place upon the earth once Judah get out of here and into the place of safety. Revelations 8, in verse 1 through verse 7. Revelations chapter 8, in verse 1 through verse 7. Now, we opened the sixth seal, and Lucifer was thrown out of heaven, right? Then once he was thrown out, before he was thrown out of heaven, that 144,000 was sealed. And all of these were who? These were all of Yahweh's servants. Understand that now. All the nations talking about their servants, but these were all of Yahweh's servants of the house of Israel. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw 7 angels which stood before Elohim, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before Elohim out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the 7 angels, which had the 7 trumpets, prepared themselves to sound.
Right. And all this wrath, the angel took this census, right, and filled it with fire from the altar, right, and then threw it where? He cast it to the earth, right? It's time for the earth to go through her process of destruction. But go ahead and read, brother, what these Gentiles haven't already told up.
Last verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up.
Of that third part. Now let's go into Revelations chapter 15 and verse 1 through chapter 16. Hold your place right there, because we're coming back right here. Revelations 15 and 1 through 16 and 2.
Verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Elohim. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Elohim. And they sing the song of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Adonai Elohim Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Adonai, and glorify thy name? For you only are holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for your judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open, and the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the four beasts gave unto the seven angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of Elohim, who lives forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of Elohim and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled.
Now this must be some powerful stuff here, brother, that nobody was able, people that already been in the temple in heaven, and now can't no one enter into that temple because of the wrath of the Creator, Israel, of all things. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yeah, before they go any further too, I want to show that. How we read about the 7 angels, the fulfillment means the completion, right? Like we read in Genesis, the first day, everything is going on. When they get to the 7th, it's ceasation. So 7 always means the rest, the completion, right?
Because 7 is the first number. Right. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Revelations chapter 16, verse 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of Elohim upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image.
Okay, this all of this destruction is coming from radioactive fallout of people going to war with America. Chapter 8 in verse 9 through, hold your place back there in Revelation 16, because we're going back there. Revelations 8 in verse 8 and 9, brother.
And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood.
A third part of the trees was burned up. All the green grass was burned up, right? And now we have a third part of the sea becoming blood, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed.
Okay, it's chapter 16, and read verse 3, my brother.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea.
Yeah, like I said, this earth is going to be almost uninhabitable by the time the Messiah comes. First, a third of the trees, a third of the creatures. Now all the souls in the sea has died. Everything that's alive in the sea is dead. Okay, chapter 8, and read verse 10 and verse 11, brother.
And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter.
Chapter 16, in verse 8, verse 4 through verse 8, verse 7 rather.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the water say, you are righteous, O Adonai, which are and was and shall be, because you have judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Adonai Elohim Almighty, true and righteous are your judgments.
Chapter 8 and verse 12 and 13.
And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound.
Okay, chapter 16. Now, let's notice one thing now. All of these things is falling upon 1/3 of the earth. Chapter 16 and verse 8 and 9.
And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Elohim, which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
Right, now we got the sun with the strength of 7 suns shining upon man, and man don't want to deal with these things. He's already destroyed his ozone layer, and he's destroying all of the protection that he has around the earth to protect him from the elements. But man don't care. Man don't understand. Man still going to worship that man over there, right? Now let's go and see what this third part was that was destroyed. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through verse 15. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through verse 15.
Verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Europe. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Aryans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thou nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silence, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Aryans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kings.
Now we know that the Europeans came over here and took America and set up this governmental system, so she is the daughter of Europe. Europe is the Holy Roman Empire, the old ancient. Whoever came in, the Babylonian Empire came in first, and whoever came in, they took over the Babylonian Empire. Regardless to what they call it, the Bible. The Bible still considered this the Babylonian Empire. But go ahead and read, brother. I'll find this thing in a minute.
Verse 6. I was angry with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into your hand. You did show them no mercy. Upon the ancient have you very heavily laid your yoke.
Go back and read the slavery. See? They sold y'all for sugar. Yeah, right.
Molasses.
They sold y'all for anything that they can get their hands on. They strung fruit up in trees. Folks thought niggas was growing on trees. You see, they upon the very ancient did they very heavily lay that yoke and this toil, working from sun up to after sundown, right? Picking that cotton, right? Cotton was king down here in the South, and niggas picked more cotton and snakes killed off more niggas than white folks did. You know why? Yahweh had gave us into their hands to be destroyed until the time of reformation, and he isn't finished with us yet.
They used the eagle back in the Roman Empire time. They're still using it, right?
Of course.
Yeah, it's hard to interpret.
It's still the same. That's why they call America woe to the land overshadowed with wings.
Well, back in the Roman Empire, had to see them, the costumes came from back then. Yeah, okay.
Of course, ain't nothing new under the sun, brother. Nothing new. We just in a different location, that's all. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Cotton field, that was just like in Egypt. I mean, out in the wilderness when they sick those serpents, put the serpents on us, right?
Of course. Of course, brother. Yahweh did it before, and guess what? There is nothing new under the sun. What you do is you get back and you read our deliverance out of Egypt until I going into the land in the valley of Achor, and you can see that the same thing is going to happen all over again, just at a different time, that's all. Yahweh said he don't change. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 7, and you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not lay these things to your heart, neither did remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, you that are given to pleasures, that dwells carelessly, that says in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their perfection for the multitude of your sorceries and for the great abundance of your enchantments. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, none sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge, it have perverted you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon you. You shall not know from whence it rises. And mischief shall fall upon you. You shall not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. Stand now with your enchantments and with the multitude of your sorceries, wherein you have labored from your youth. If so be, you shall be able to profit. If so be, you may prevail. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from these things that shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto you with whom you have labored, even your merchants from your youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save.
Right, so we get away from here. This girl here is getting ready to be destroyed. She is the problem on the whole earth, you know. If we destroy her, see, we won't have no problem setting up this new world order. Because we know that George Bush, or whoever the president is at that time, is not going to acquiesce his power to nobody. Okay, Isaiah chapter 18, and read, my brother, pick that up at verse 1 through verse 7. Isaiah chapter 18, and verse 1 through verse 7.
Verse 1, woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sends ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, go, you swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. All you inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see you, when he lifts up an ensign on the mountain, and when he blows a trumpet, hear you. For so Yahweh said unto me, I will take my rest, and I will consider in my dwelling place like a clear heat upon herbs, and like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest.
Now what does that do? That spoil whatever you've gathered, doesn't it? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 5, for the harvest, when the bud is perfect and the sour grape is ripening in the flower.
Before the harvest of the world, when the bud is perfect, that's the house of Judah, and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks and take away and cut down the branches thereof. Before Israel travail and bring forth fruit, America is going to be destroyed. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 6. They shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountain and unto the beasts of the earth, and the fowls shall summer upon them, and all the beasts of the earth shall winter upon them. In that time shall the present be brought unto Yahweh of hosts, of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, whose lands the river have spoiled, to the place of the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Mount Sion.
Amen and amen. Now, the next piece of scripture that follows that in the destruction of America is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 1 through chapter 51 and verse 58. It's Jeremiah 50 and verse 1 through chapter 51 and verse 58. And we did that with the blowing of the first 4 trumpets and the pouring out of the first vials of wrath in the book of Revelations. In these crucial times, the Master has sent you a servant to prepare you for his use. And with each passing day, we are granted the liberty of being in position to bring forth fruit that is ready for repentance. So let us be mindful of the reason for our calling at this time and be ever careful to worship Yahweh and serve in Yeshua's body to his glory. Because if we don't do these things, we shall die here in the wicked. But let's go and see some more things that the nation has planned against us. Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1 through chapter 2 and verse 12. Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1 through chapter 2 and verse 12.
Verse 1. Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of Yahweh, and in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper.
Praise Yah.
The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Right. The kings of the earth and all the rulers have set themselves in array against us, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast their cords from among us. Name one band we have. Name one.
That came against Israel, you know?
All the nations on the earth, brother, because all the nations on the earth is Lucifer's children. The Gentiles were grafted into our tree, brother, because they was Lucifer's children in the beginning. Yahweh chose Israel. Let's understand that. Go ahead, Steve.
Verse 4.
We would exclude the NAACP.
And the NAACP, niggers, alligators, and coons and possums, of course, brother.
I call them niggas always acting crazy in public. That's what I call them.
Same difference. The white folks say niggers, armadillos, alligators, coons, and possums. That's what they call us. And we can understand that, though, can't we? You know why? We are God's chosen people. What else do you expect to come out of the nation's mouth except degradation toward our people? Go ahead, Steve.
Verse 4. He that sits in the heavens shall laugh. The Adonai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahweh hath said unto me, you are my son. This day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him.
Okay, my brother, let's go into Revelation chapter 13 and read verse 1 through verse 18. See, these are some things y'all haven't heard in them churches. See, because Then you begin to understand why the Bible call them whorehouses. Because you go in there and you get your evil disease that cling to you, and unless Yahweh heal you, you will die with it. Revelation 13 and verse 1 through verse 18.
And you know, Elder, the thing about it, when you go to these Christians and you reading, that's the way you interpret it. They say thou shalt not kill. That's the way you interpret it.
Right. You say, well, that ain't what he meant.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, bro.
That if by the devil, and lust your father will do. Just see them instead of coming up.
All you have to do is watch people, and you can tell who they serve. All you gotta do is watch their habits, and you can tell who they serve. I mean, every man is gonna sin and come short of Yahweh's glory, but you watch people's habits, and you will tell who they serve. And if you don't serve, you're gonna die in your sins. That's just that simple. Chapter 13, and pick that up at verse 1 through verse 18, bro.
Yes, sir. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Now, on that chart over there, we got the 10 crowns, which is Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Great Britain, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. Those are the 10 countries that's going to actually be the counselors for this last empire. These are the ones that are going to wield the power. Those are the ones that's going to control the armies. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Alexander the Great.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
The Russians.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
The Arabs.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Rome fell in 476 AD, and so far we've had 9 kings that's come up to try to revive the Holy Roman Empire. Now they're putting this thing together, and it's going to be healed, and all the world is going to wonder after this beast here. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
3.5 years, same time that we're in the wilderness. The Messiah came, it was 70 weeks in Daniel. The Messiah took 69 weeks to come. He taught 3.5 years, which was a half week, and the other 3.5 years is the Great Tribulation period that will complete the 70 weeks of Daniel. After that, the children of Israel will return back to Zion. But go ahead and read. Back to our land, I shouldn't just say Zion. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
So we know what this last pope's job is, don't you? To make war with us. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints.
Right. Now, so far, he's given us the political arm of the Holy Roman Empire, right? Okay, let's go and read the church of the Holy Roman Empire. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Right, he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. He had the power of the Holy Roman Empire, and he had of the political empire, and he had the power of the church of Europe. But go ahead and read, brother.
verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Mm-hmm.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
And truly, every pope that is elected, he has the number 666. As we see, after America's destruction, Lucifer will set his final government in place upon the earth, an empire that will openly and willingly serve him, an empire whose people will seek to destroy our whole seed, an empire that will try to fight the host of heaven at the Master's return. So let us take heed to our spirit, O you children of the Most High. Let us run this race. Let us fight this war with all our might. Let us beware that our lives and future is at stake. And most of all, let us worship, pray, and serve our Elohim, that we may be found worthy to receive a crown of glory, because the just shall live by faith. So let us not fall in the flesh and neglect the salvation given us through Yahweh's grace, because Yahweh our Elohim is truly consuming fire. But let us hear the conclusion of this part, this chapter of the story. Next week, what we'll do, if it's Yahweh's will, next week what I'll do is do the actual coming of the Lord and so forth, and how the governmental system that's going to be set up on the earth, if it's according to Yahweh's will. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter for today. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3, and I want you to read verse 18 through verse 22, my brother. Revelation chapter 3, and verse 18 through verse 22.
Verse 18, I counsel you to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich, and white raiment, that you may be clothed, and that the shame of your nakedness do not appear. Mm-hmm. And anoint your eyes with eye salve, that you may see. Mm-hmm. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Amen. So it's been said, so let it be written. Even so, come, Lord Yeshua, and save Jacob out of all his troubles. So all I'm going to do today, and may Yahweh add a blessing to each and every one.